Hey, what's happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels and got kind of an interesting video for you guys today. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with Banksy. Banksy, the famous like graffiti artist, street artist. I hate how Google Images has kind of changed how they display images, but that's one of his kind of like iconic street art pieces. Once you guys see a couple of these, you probably know who Banksy is, and a lot of his work is kind of like social commentary on consumerism and just kind of society as a whole. But Banksy, who has kind of crossed over from street art into fine art. You remember recently he had that painting that sold that was at like a Sotheby's auction for a couple $1,000,000, and right after the painting was bought, it shredded itself, but it only half shredded itself, and that thing's worth now millions of dollars. That Banksy. So he's rolled out his own Shopify store. Now, most of the art he does is street art. Most of the other art goes for millions of dollars. He's basically set up a limited edition collection. And I guess kind of the idea behind this is he wants, normal everyday art lovers who aren't rich to have a chance to get their hands on some of his pieces of work. So pretty much most of these, with the exception of like a couple items, are all limited edition. And it's kind of interesting how this is going to work. So basically, if you wanted to buy one of these items, you have to go onto the store. You'll then select the item you want to buy. So let's just say, for example, we want to buy the Banksy metal ball. I already went through the process and they block your IP, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But essentially, we would add this to cart. It's 500 pounds. There's 15 available. After this, we're taken to a page that says, "Why does art matter?" with the "why" scratched out. So it just says, "Does art matter?" You have to answer a question stating, "Does art matter?" and say why. And I guess it's a little bit confusing. They say entries are going to be randomly selected, but then they also say that a stand-up comedian is going to be the judge and pick the answer. So I don't know if you want to be kind of clever or funny or witty in your response. One thing I kind of noticed, I went through this process from a couple of different VPNs and used a couple different email addresses just to sign up for a couple different things here. And one thing I noticed is if there's not certain keywords in your answer, you're basically just taken to an email collection page. If you do answer the question, I don't know that there's a correct answer to why does art matter, does art matter, but if you answer the question with a couple of different keywords in your answer, because I've gone through this a number of times, if there's certain keywords in your answer, then you'll be taken to another page, basically a Shopify checkout page, where you'll put in your name, address, phone number, email, and you don't actually make payment. Once you confirm the purchase, you're basically then taken to a page that says, you'll be contacted with a special link if you are chosen as the winner. So here's some of the items. We got a Banksy clock, a Banksy metal ball decor to hang from the ceiling, a Banksy clutch bag that looks like an old like cork drawer. We got Banksy spray paint. And these items range from like 10 pounds for something like the can of spray paint that is not limited edition, all the way up to I think as high as like 850 pounds. Now, I would say, if you're a Banksy fan, definitely head over here. If you sign up for something, if you wind up winning for anywhere between, a couple $100 to what's 850 pounds, probably $1,000, you probably wind up getting your hands on something that'll wind up going for at least a couple $100,000, if not $1 million plus. They got some t-shirts, duck cover. This one they got like Nike, Adidas tag tees that are like, like written in Greece Banksy. I think this is kind of a commentary on the whole like, was it Syrian refugee thing going on over in Europe right now. I thought this was kind of a neat one. An axe and a piece of wood. This is actually a real television with a Banksy print spray painted on it. We got mugs. This was featured, I think some famous like rap artists or something wore this at some music festival recently. We got the Banksy thrower painting, another t-shirt, and then there's some kind of home goods and things like that as well. Thought this one was kind of funny. Banksy created the ultimate ceiling-mounted stimulus toy to prepare your little ones for the journey ahead. A lifetime of constant scrutiny by both state-sanctioned and self-imposed. Doesn't rotate very well. Assembly required. I think we got a couple more items here. I thought this one was kind of interesting. Life's too short to take advice from a cushion. Everyone's got these motivational cushions and things like that. Are you fed up with soft furnishings trying to express your feelings on your behalf? Then these stenciled cushions make that clear. They come as a pair, but they might not match as they're painted on what is found in a charity shop. And then I thought this one was kind of good too. So we got like a diabetic dying Tony the Tiger, a bit of old A bit of old carpet painted to resemble the diabetes-riddled corpse of Tony the Tiger. This floor covering makes quite the conversation piece, especially if the conversation centers around a UK spending over $7.8 million a year on tooth extractions for the under fives. Carpet with resin head, suitable for vegetarians, and signed. I think we had a couple more items here. This is a welcome mat made of life vests from, I think it's Syrian refugees. This mat is stitched using fabric from life vests abandoned on the beaches of the Mediterranean. Customers are advised they no longer constitute a valid buoyancy aid, although shockingly many never did. They're cheap fakes sold by people smugglers and don't actually float. To fabricate the mats, Banksy has teamed up with the organization Love Welcomes, who works with women in detainment camps in Greece. You can make your order by visiting their website here. All proceeds are retained locally to help the refugees access key services. So yeah, I thought this was kind of interesting that Banksy wound up using a Shopify store, and he's actually using the debut theme, which is this theme right here. We can take a look at the demo here. And obviously, you or me running an e-commerce shop isn't the same thing as Banksy. I mean, Banksy, anything he puts together, he could, spray paint a circle on a cereal box and the thing would wind up selling for millions of dollars. So, he's got a little bit more going for him with his name, but I just thought it was interesting that he set up a Shopify store. I thought it was kind of clever how everything here is limited edition and kind of how it's being sold through, kind of an auction style process. But yeah, just thought this was kind of funny. Thought it was an interesting example of Shopify being used and thought you guys might enjoy it. I'll link to this website as well as articles about this whole thing going on that give a little bit more info for anybody who's interested. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button below, and we'll catch you on the next video.